Yeah, okay, I'm live. Hello. Hello. So we have 65 registered today. That's excellent. Nobody yet in the room from what I can see, but that will come. Welcome, everybody. I don't know if some of you guys are already here. I know Beth wanted to come earlier. So, I'm excited for today's webinar. So we will start in about 12 minutes. I have a little announcement to make before we start, but I hope everybody is doing well. Let me see here. We got Greg, John, Ryan, Beth, James. So we got some people already. So Beth, so no problem. I will make the announcement earlier. I can try to give you the access for the microphone and everything, but that's a bit challenging, I think, with this program. So I think the easiest is that I make the announcement. I printed the announcement, so I have no problem. So welcome, everybody, again. We will start in 12 minutes. I'm really excited about this webinar today. This is the third one that I'm doing with YBAA, and I'm quite excited. So I'll let you guys get ready for it. Grab some water or coffee or whatever you want, and we'll start in a few minutes. So I will share my screen. I'll let the screen for a few minutes, and I'll talk to you guys in a couple of minutes, but I really look forward to getting started with you guys today. So let me hear me properly. Let's do a little test before most of the attendees come today. If you can hear me properly, type yes into the little chat box on the right side. And also, if you can see the screen properly, please type yes in the little chat box on the right side, okay? So this is very exciting. We have almost 70 now registered for today's webinar. I see we have 67 registered so far. So I want to thank you guys, and also on behalf of the YBAA, thank you for participating today in this seminar. We are really excited. So welcome again. So far we got Tom, Ryan, James, Beth that responded yes, they can hear us properly. We got more attendees in the room. Welcome, everybody. We got Richard, James, Neil, Tim, Tom, John, Ryan, Scott, John, Greg. Welcome, guys. So we will start in around 10 minutes. And today's topic is very interesting. We're going to talk about, I wanted to make you ready for the boat show season and equip you with the two best kind of like tool and techniques that you can use this season to be really efficient in boat sales. Okay, so we're going to talk about the best way to communicate with clients today, but also the best tool to communicate with clients today. And that's in the program of our webinar today. So this is really exciting, and I can't wait to share that with you. Okay. If you have any question before we start, feel free to ask it in the little chat box also. Okay. So I'm here at the office in Vancouver. I'm with Morgan, our office manager, and John So, our marketing manager at the Access Academy. And yeah, we're excited to do this session with you, all of you guys this morning. So I see we have almost 20 people live now and 10 minutes to go. So that's a good sign. I hope we'll be close to 50 today in this webinar. So make sure to get comfortable, get a pen, get a paper. I will send you the slides. I will send you some bonuses at the end of this webinar. But please take some notes. It's always good to take some notes, and I will help you to understand the subject and the golden nuggets that I will share with you guys better. Another thing also, make sure to stay until the end. Why? because this webinar will be worth 3 credits for all the CPYB members. Okay, so make sure to stay until the end, because we can keep track with our software of the attendees that stay until the end. And once we can see that you are until the end, you will have your points accredited by Beth and Vin from the YBAA team. Okay, so welcome for the new one in the live room yet. We're close to 25 now, 23. So welcome everybody. And we will start in less than 10 minutes. So today's topic is really fascinating. It has been really game-changing for me and some of our clients and students over the last year. So pay attention, and the tool that I will share with you, this is something really exciting that I really encourage you to use, because it's extremely powerful. So I'm sure you'll be very excited about today's webinar. So as I said earlier, today we're going to talk about how to reconnect with prospects, how to reconnect with clients. Okay, so how to communicate with them. And I will share with you 2 key elements for it. First of all, the best way to communicate. And after that, I will show you the best tool to establish communication. So they really work one-on-one, kind of like a little puzzle, 2 puzzle pieces connected together. And when you use both of them, they're extremely powerful. And this is why I'm super excited for this webinar today. And I think it'll be very, very valuable for you guys. So starting in 6 minutes now, I'm just going to turn on the camera again. I want to say a little quick hello. Welcome again for the new one. We will start in less than 5 minutes. So I just came back. I was in Switzerland and I flew back literally last night. So I had a good night's sleep. Luckily, I don't have any jet lag. So as soon as I arrived, I had a good night's sleep. So I wanted to be ready for this webinar today. I really wanted to be focused and 100%. So we spent a lot of time preparing the webinar. That's why I'm excited to share it with you guys today. Okay. So today content's about communication with prospect, communication one-on-one. It's becoming more and more challenging because there is so much noise in the marketplace. Okay, so I wanted to help you with this and show you the best way, but also the best tool to communicate with both buyers, with prospects in 2017. So this is going to be very, very effective for you if you implement the strategies that I share with you guys. And also, if you have any question after the webinar, feel free to get back to me. My email is vincent@yardsalesacademy.com. You can also reach out to me on social media, either on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I'll be very happy to keep the conversation if you have any question after the webinar. As I mentioned earlier, also, please be focused, but please stay until the end of this webinar, because you will receive your credit, your 3 CPYB credits, okay, from YBAA. So make sure to stay until the end. And I also have some bonuses for the ones that stay until the end. We will email you some bonuses with this webinar today. Okay, so I will share the screen again. Let me share the screen again. People in the room now. If you can hear me properly, if you can see the screen properly, please share yes in the little chat box here on the right side, so we can make sure we're good to go and we're ready to start in a couple minutes now. Excellent. So we got a lot of yeses. Oh, look like we have a question from David. Looks like we get a little question. If you have a question, feel free to ask it in the chat. So let me see who we have right now. We have Greg, Mike, Don, John, David, Scott. We have Tom, Scott, John, Michael, Tom, Tim, Beth, Mike, Morty, Neil, James, Richard. Welcome, everybody. And we'll start in 3 minutes now. So total now we are at 67 registrants. So I hope that majority of you will come today, and that'll be fantastic. So at the end of the webinar today, we'll have a little Q&A. Okay, if you have any question, feel free to send me a little question in the chat, and I'll be happy to respond to it. Okay. And we are starting in literally. So in 1 minute, I will make the announcement from the YBAA, and we will get rolling. But I want to say thank you, everybody, so for coming. This is really exciting. I really want to thank the YBAA, Vin, Beth, and all the team out there. This is my third webinar with you guys. I'm very honored every time I have the opportunity to do one. The first two that I did were fantastic. I had a lot of fun doing them, a lot of great feedback. And I really hope that the third one will be in the continuity of the precedent and will be as fun and I hope as valuable for you guys. So I put a lot of work into today's webinar. I prepared some things that I feel is really important for selling boats in 2017. And we'll start in a minute or two. But before starting, I would like to make a quick announcement. I would like to thank the CPYB sponsors. Okay, so first we have yachtworld.com for their diamond sponsorship. We have the Northwest Yachting Magazine and Bohonon Law Firm for their gold sponsorship. We have Gory Group, Yacht Closer, AIM Marine Group, Canadian Yachting Magazine, and Soundings Magazines for their silver sponsorships. And for the bronze sponsorship, we would like to thank the Yacht Broker Institute, the New England Marine Documentation, Robert Allen Law, Massachusetts Marine Academy, and AMI Kids Yacht Donation Program, as I said, for the bronze sponsorship of the CPYB program. Okay, last little announcement before we get started. Make sure to stay until the end. You will be allocated 3 credits from CPYB members. Okay, so stay until the end, and I will let you know at the end, but our program will just be able to see which attendees stay until the end, and based on that, you will receive the credit. So, welcome everybody. I'm really excited for today's webinar. And what's the topic today? Topic I wanted to prepare you and equip you before the boat show season. So, how to easily reconnect one-on-one with 30 to 40% of your database before the boat show season. Okay, so what do I mean by that? We're going to review that in the next 40 minutes together. Now, here is what I have. So let me just get my, give me 1 little second here. I'm just going to get my little notes. Okay. Okay, I just want to go in full screen. So here is what we have. No sales happen unless money exchange hands. This is very important, and I wanted to start with this. Now, no money exchange hands unless there is an offer. No offer happens unless there is a communication between 2 or more parties. And no communication happens unless there is someone paying attention. So the core of your business is not the boat sales business. The core of your business is you are in the business of getting people attention. And this is what we're going to review today. So what will you learn today? During the next 40 minutes, you're going to learn the step-by-step system to drastically improve your current communication with prospects and clients that will help you and that will result in an increase in sales. Now, every time I put a presentation together, I really like to put a lot of heart into it. That's why I like to show you this photo of my two kids, my two sons, Luca and Leo. They are 5 and 2 years old. Because in my mind, every time I prepare a presentation for you guys, I'm thinking, what if Luca and Leo will come to see me today and say, hey, Dad, I want to become a boat broker. If they were 18 and they will come to see me and say, I want to become a boat broker, what would you share with me? And the information that I'm about to share with you guys in this webinar are exactly what I would tell my sons. Because those are the best information that I've curated, that I've experienced, that I've noticed in the marketplace, and I want to share with you guys today. As I said earlier, I really want you to stay until the end. Why? Because first of all, we have some surprises, we have some bonuses for you, and those bonuses are worth a lot. They will help you significantly. And also, of course, you're going to receive your CPYB credits. So please pay attention, okay? Focus. Please turn off the phone, turn off the cell phone, turn off the Facebook, all the notification, the email. And the next 40 minutes will really change your life, really change your career. So let's have a little overview of what we are going to find out today. In today's webinar, we're going to learn 2 fundamental secrets. As I said earlier, the best way and the best tool to communicate. So first, secret number 1, how to use buyer psychology to sell boats in a way that is perfectly adapted to today's market without worrying about being annoying, pushy, or rejected. Now, some of you guys, you might have seen that topic with me before. We're going to review it fast, but this is so important. This is why I really wanted to share it again with you guys. And the secret number 2, the secret weapon to generate an avalanche of one-on-one communication with prospects. So this is so important, guys, because that's what you want. You want to generate one-on-one communication with prospects and grow your sales pipeline faster than what? So I try to come up with something cool and I say faster than syrup topped hotcake or gobbled up at a resort breakfast buffet. And this is kind of like the imagery that I wanted to put it because you're going to be impressed by how much acceleration you can get in using this tool. Now, just before we jump in, I want to share my story very briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I want to give you an idea of why I'm here, why I'm talking to you, and why you should listen. Okay? So I immigrated to Canada a little bit over 10 years ago in 2005. I couldn't read, write, or speak English properly. I'm originally from France. And after a few small menial jobs, I made the jump and decided to start as a boat broker. Now, it was difficult. My wife, Jenna, who was my girlfriend at the time, had to literally read all my email. I was a boat broker with a dictionary on my desk. And that was difficult. People couldn't understand me. But I was working hard and I remember sometime I almost gave up. I couldn't take it anymore, but I was working so hard for it. I really felt the struggle. And I almost quit. I remember one day my wife complaining to me like, hey, what's going on? You're not making any money. You keep saying you want to be the best boat broker, but you're not making any money. These things are not working out. But I kept fighting. I kept working hard. And after a year and a half, I finally found the code. I kind of like felt I cracked the code. And I sold 2 big boats, 65 feet and 80 feet. And I realized other brokers in my firm were telling me, hey, you're good at marketing boats online. So with a friend, I say, hey, there is a Fort Lauderdale boat show. Maybe we should go and ask shipyard if they need help market boats online. And that's exactly what I did. And that was the best 9 years of my life, traveling around the world. Hundreds of boat shows. working with over 300 shipyards worldwide. You can see me on the Lurson yacht, 300 feet. Here's a boat show in Sydney. Here's a show in south of France. Literally been everywhere. Asia, Europe, South America, Middle East, Australia, North America. I learned so much about the marketplace. And I became obsessed with learning how to sell more boats. And I've since spent thousands of hours gathering the best proven info, techniques, and methods from my clients, from people that I interviewed, from friends in the industry. And I decided that I wanted to share that. And that's why I started Yacht Sales Academy. Yacht Sales Academy has been my core business for the last 2-3 years now. And here's a presentation I did 2 months ago in front of 90 brokers for an association of yacht broker in Northwest. Okay. And I'm really having a lot of fun sharing all this knowledge with you guys. And that's why I'm really grateful of this opportunity to present you this information today. But as you saw in my story, I learned that stuff the hard way. But I'm ready to share it with you guys. I'm ready to share the best information I wish I knew 10 years ago when I was a broker. So without further ado, let's get started with our secrets. Number one, how to use buyer psychology to sell boats in a way that is perfectly adapted to today's market without worrying about being annoying, pushy, or rejected. So I want to go back to our main quote for today. No sales happen unless money exchange hands. We can agree with that. Now, no money exchange hands unless there is an offer. No offer happens unless there is a communication between two or more parties. And no communication happens unless there is someone paying attention. As I said, therefore, your core business is not boat sales, is you're in the business of getting people attention. Now imagine what will life be when you know how to get prospect attention and communicate with more of them in less time and make more money from higher commissions. What difference will it make for you and your family? I remember that quote from Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks. He said, "We are not in the coffee business serving people. We are in the people business serving coffee." I love that quote because he really realized that the core of his business are the people. And it's the same for you guys. The core of your business are not the boats. They are the people. And so if you learn how to deal with people, how to get people's attention, how to get people to communicate with you, you're on your way to become a successful boat sales professional. Now, to understand how to get people's attention, we need to understand how the brain works. Our brain is an incredibly complex and interconnected series of networks. The brain has the equivalent, I think, of 200,000 miles of wiring with incredible capabilities. I think it contains like 100 billion brain cells called like the neurons and makes around 200 billion calculations per second. So the brain seems so complex. But if you analyze to the layer foundation, our brain is wired to do two things only. Number one, to survive. And number two, to save energy. And here is a problem. The brain of your prospect is wired to save energy. But your prospects are completely drained of the commercial solicitation they receive in the marketplace today. When a few years ago we were exposed to 500 commercial messages a day, like a couple of decades ago, today 5,000 to 9,000 commercial messages daily. It's almost 10 million per year. And our brain is wired to save energy. So what do we do as a consumer? We develop mechanism of avoidance, conscious and unconscious. They are called, psychologists call that inattentional blindness. So basically, if you put an ad about your boat, so if you talk to a client about your boat, their brains completely shut down right away. Why? Because they are overexposed to commercial solicitations. So what's the only way to get attention from your clients? Well, number one is to have some clarity. We like to say, if you confuse, you lose. You have to be very clear in the message you send to clients. But also create a pattern interrupt. And what's a pattern interrupt? Some people call also this a cognitive dissonance. It's a trigger that will happen in the brain of your prospect that will kind of like wake them up and force them to pay attention. So I'll give you one, for instance, a question. Question is kind of like a pattern interrupt. If you walk on the street and somebody, comes too close to you and asks you a question, what time is it? You're not going to avoid them. You're going to respond to it. Because the human brain can't ignore a question. He may choose not to answer, but he can't ignore it. So question is a technique. Another technique is a one-on-one conversation. If you're driving your car and you listen to a radio advertising, you might not listen to it. But if someone knocked to your window and talked to you one-on-one, you're much more likely to listen to that person, right? So you have to understand what action should you do as a boat sales professional to get people attention. So now that we understand our brain, we need to understand the second most important factor, the marketplace. Because if you don't understand the marketplace, you will not understand customers' behavior. And there are hundreds of books out there in sales about how to sell, but very few books about why people buy. And I tend to be more interested about books on why people buy. Because if you understand the consumer behavior, it's so much easier to get a sale. Okay? Now, does that make sense for you guys so far? Okay. So the marketplace, we had a tipping point in the marketplace literally 2 years ago, and it can be seen on this chart. The tipping point happened on July 16, 2015, 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time. This is precisely when the new way of selling started to overcome the traditional way of selling, when Amazon started to take over Walmart. And not even 2 years, pretty much just 2 years after, the market capitalization of Amazon is now nearly $500 billion versus Walmart market cap is around $240 billion. So you can see in 2 years the change in the marketplace. Those are the two biggest players. What does that tell us? That tells us that the market has changed. And what's a market is the way buyer buys things has changed. And if we analyze other companies like the biggest hospitality company in the world, Airbnb, the biggest transportation company in the world, Uber, the biggest software company in the world, Atlassian, the biggest auction company in the world, the biggest travel agency company in the world, one of the biggest auto company in North America, they all have something in common. They're relying on the internet to sell things. So now don't get scared. Don't run away. I'm not telling you you're going to sell your boats online now. What I'm saying is you need to understand how the brain of your consumer works, of your buyer works, and then adapt your sales method to it. Because it's time to face reality. There is a survey from Forrester Research. They say 93% of B2C consumers prefer buying online instead of from a salesperson. Or nearly 75% of B2B buyers say that buying from a website is more convenient. What does that mean? That means that you guys need to adapt. And this is what I'm equipping you today. This is what I'm helping you with today. I'm going to show you the best way to adapt and the best tool to adapt. Okay? Traditional sales methods don't work anymore because the way people buy has completely changed. A few years ago, 33% of the research, the pre-sale, was typically done by the clients on their own. And 67% of the research was done with the help of the salesperson, with you. So you were an important element of the sales equation. A few years ago, the consumer was doing research for buying a boat, for instance, on TV, catalog, magazines, you know, boat show, word of mouth, and 67% of the rest was doing with the salesperson, with you. Today, things change. 85 to 90% of the pre-sale is done by the clients online and 15% during the sales process. So your customers are in control and you're not indispensable anymore. You look at a website like Yacht World, they have 115,000 boats for sales. They provide so much information about the boats. Okay? So that's for this reason you absolutely need to adapt. Because the people, the boat buyers, they don't like to deal with you guys anymore, especially if you deal in a way that is not adapted to today's market. If you adapt your selling style to today's market, it's okay. You're going to succeed. If not, you're going to fail. Why? Well, let me share an Accenture survey from 2010. They asked people, what's the most hated profession in America? And the second position after politics was what? Sales. And they ask people, when do you think of the word sell or selling? What's the first word that comes to mind? And the response is represented in the word cloud here. Now, the size of the words represent the frequency of the response. So people say it's pushy, it's hard, manipulative, difficult, annoying. So it's time for us to change. We cannot sell the whole way. So for this reason, we're going to finish secret number 1. And I'm going to show you exactly the only way you can communicate with clients today. And then after that, I'll share with you the best tool to use. Because here is the reality today. If you go to a boat show to buy a boat, let's say one of your clients goes to the boat show and you want to buy a runabout boat. Every salesperson is going to see, they're going to say more or less the same thing. Oh yeah, this boat's a great boat, great value, great this, great that, great quality, great performance, great saving. So guess what? As soon as a client says that, it's another noise in their head. And as soon as they hear the best discount, best value, great quality, boom, mechanism of avoidance that starts. Inattentional blindness. So they don't pay attention. Now imagine you are here and you create your pattern interrupt. Boom, they are going to start paying attention. And that's how you're going to get competitive over the other brand and get a chance to sell the boats. Let me give you an example. As I say, every boat buyer says exactly the same things. We have the best quality, the best performance, the best comfort, the best value, the best price. And your prospects are unable to differentiate one product from another. So their brain shut down. And guys, I'm going to boat show all year long since 10 years. And I can attest that this is the truth. That's what people say. When I ask them, hey, tell me about this boat. Oh, great, best quality, best performance. This is so overdone. The clients doesn't even believe you anymore. That's how your clients feel. Oh, another one. They feel overwhelmed. And when they feel threatened, what they do, their brain, shut down. So what's the best way to communicate with clients? Well, there are 4 different conversation styles. There are 4 different ways to communicate with clients. So I want to go through this quickly because some of you guys already reviewed that with me, but this is so important. You need to master this. This is not optional. So there are 4 different conversational styles. First one being the monologue, the one used the majority of the time at boat shows. And unfortunately, it's the least persuasive method of communication. Because as I said, and as we learned before, your interlocutor is less likely to pay attention. And this is a typical traditional selling. Because they're exposed to so many commercial messages a day, they shut down. So this method holds a very low degree of influence. So when you say we are the number one, we're best quality, forget about it. It's just pass through an ear and it goes from the other ear. The second is a debate. And the debate is what if you take a sales training course, that's usually what they will teach you. Typical for objection handling and closing. But the problem is it rarely influences others to change their opinion. Because when you have a I'm better than you tone, I'm superior than you tone, people are not going to want to deal with you. You might have heard this quote from Dale Carnegie: a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So the third one is called a discussion. And this is the most commonly used in sales technique today. The problem is this had a win-win agenda. That's what they teach you in business books, a win-win agenda. So you need to build rapport, qualify, needs understanding, etc. But what's a win-win? When you have a win-win, you're not the client's advocate. You're following your own agenda, and the client can sense that. And as a result, it's not working well for you. So what you want to do instead, you want to use the only way to be efficient in 2017 in sales, the dialogue, the most persuasive methods of verbal communication. Because nothing is more powerful than letting others persuade themselves. If you study the semantic of the word dialogue, it comes from dia, through, and logos, word, through the word. So dialogue requests to detach yourself from the expectation of making a sale, and rather focus on finding out if there is a sales to be made. And how do you find that out? You ask the right question. I'm going to share some very powerful question in a couple of minutes with you guys. It originally comes from Socrates 2,500 years ago. For him, the only way to find truth was to ask meaningful questions. So this is a difference between the old way versus the new way of selling. The old way on the right side is focused at 80-20 on yourself. When you do presentation, is about yourself, and objection handling is about yourself. So what we're doing is we're switching it to a rapport and dialogue at 80% and only 20% trying to, help the clients to get the sale. This is product-oriented versus client-oriented. We were product-oriented, now we're going to be client-oriented. So I'm going to share some client-oriented questions with you guys. And this is so powerful because it will help you to constantly prevent and eliminate rejection, but most importantly, allow your prospect to persuade themselves. So you guys want to know some exact question to allow your prospect to persuade themselves? Well, let me share some with you guys. Here are some magic questions. This one, you want to write them down. You want to use them all the time. Every time you're selling a boat, you want to use these questions. So if a client tells you they want to buy a boat, ask them what vision do they have for their future boats. Instead of what boat do you want, what vision do you have? Because they buy a boat not for the boat itself, for the vision they have. So this is an excellent question. Or if they come to see you with a specific model in mind, ask them, I'm curious as to why you decided to come and see this specific model. Or you can say, there are 115,000 boats on Yacht World. Why did you inquire about this model? And you listen and you probe. This is so important. Another great question when you start presentation with a client, so when you're on board the boat, instead of saying, oh, here is a cockpit, here is an engine, here is this, here is that, start the presentation with that magic question. There are hundreds of great things I can tell you about this boat. But what's the most important thing in a boat for you? So let's say if it's a center console, you can say, there are hundreds of great things I can tell you about this Boston Whaler 315. But what's the most important thing in a center console for you? I mean, a Boston Whaler is not a center console. In a fishing boat for you, whatever. So you ask them the right questions. Another great question that I really encourage you to use, because it will help you influence themselves. At the end of the presentation, if you notice that the client liked the boat a lot, you can say, do you think that it might be the right boat for you? And if they say yes, you say, why do you feel it is? Don't say, why do you think it is? Why do you feel it is? Now, when you use these questions, guys, you have no idea the advantage you're going to get over your competitors. Because the problem is when I hear you guys at boat shows asking the wrong questions. Where do you boat? What boat do you have? What engine do you want? Things like this. When do you want to buy? There is no structure in those questions. You need some why questions. You need some feeling questions. You need some guidance questions. When you say there are hundreds of great things I can tell you about this boat, but what's the most important thing in a boat for you? Why this question is so important? Because it will guide you. This is a question that allow you to do a client presentation rather than the product presentation. When you show your boat, it needs to be client oriented, not product oriented. And that will help you get the sale. Okay? So that was for secret number one. The best way to communicate, so to summarize, the best way to communicate is to use the dialogue and to use the right dialogue questions. I just went over 4 of them right now. I got many more to share with you guys, but I just want to give you a little idea because this is so powerful. So now that we know the only way pretty much to communicate with clients in 2017, what about the tool can we use? And this is very interesting because I've never shared that before. What tool should we use to communicate with clients? So that's our secret number 2, the secret weapon to generate an avalanche of one-on-one communication and grow your sales pipeline faster than syrup top hotcakes or gobbled up at a resort breakfast buffet. So let's go back to our main observation today. No sales happen unless money is exchanged hands. No money exchanged hands unless there is an offer. No offer happens unless there is a communication between 2 or more parties. And no communication happens unless there is someone paying attention. What I'm going to show you now is the absolute best tool, mind-blowing tool. It's a web tool that you can use to exponentially, and I'm not exaggerating, exponentially increase your client's communication today, which as a result will exponentially increase your chance of making a sale. Remember, you're not in the business of selling boats, you're in the business of getting people attention. Now, if you want to get more people attention, if you want to sell more, you need to establish more communication. To establish more communication, you want to have more commercial time, more time communicating with clients. The problem is we live in a society today where we're very not efficient. A Wall Street Journal study of a 3-hour national NFL broadcast found that viewers only saw 11 minutes of gameplay during the broadcast. Now, here's what the breakdown of what they saw. Commercial, 63 minutes. Shot of the player, standing around 67 minutes. Showing the coach, crowd, cheerleaders, 35 minutes. Replays, 15 minutes. Game action, 11 minutes. So guys, here's my question. Is 3 hours of your time really worth watching other people playing sports for 11 minutes? If you love football, if you want to spend a Sunday afternoon with friends and family watching it, it's totally fine. But you cannot bring that attitude, you cannot bring that philosophy and the same way of work during your work as a boat sales professional. You cannot say 63 minutes of Facebook, 67 minutes of YouTube, 35 minutes of coffee with my friends, 15 minutes of, looking around the internet, the news, and 11 minutes of communicating with clients. Because at the end of the day, it's all a numbers game. The more you get people attention, the more communication you establish, the more chance you will have to get offers. And that's why I want to teach you how to increase your communication with clients today. But here is a problem. The problem is becoming more and more challenging because there is so much noise in the marketplace. Let me share with you an example. Newsletter, for instance. The newsletter, I was reading the MailChimp newsletter report, and they said the average statistic for travel and transportation is 20% open and 2% click. You know what that means? It means that what's the response rate on 2% click? If you send 1,000 email, there is 20 people that will click on it. How many are going to reply? 1 or 2? Is that acceptable to you guys? Sending 1,000 email to get 1 response? This is so inefficient, right? This is just like the NFL study. There is no efficiency here. What about cold outreach? When you send 100 email to people, on average, you get 4 to 6% response rate. Today, I think it's a Cisco study. This is so inefficient. Why I'm going to send 96 email that are never going to get a response out of 100 email? What about cold calling? Today, cold calling, 80% of calls are unanswered or going to voicemail. So what works today? What methods of communication works in 2017? Are you guys ready? Because I'm going to share it with you guys and I want you guys to use it. It's a one-on-one method of communication based on email, but not a newsletter, because when you do a newsletter, you broadcast to a lot of people. And remember, what we want is we want to be the guys that knocked at the window when you're driving and say, hey, can I talk to you? One-on-one, rather than being the radio advertising that nobody pay attention. So it's called email sequence. With an email sequence, you can get up to ridiculous amount. On average, I get around 40%, but sometimes I get up to 60%. I even got up to 70% response rate. Means that what? Means that if I communicate with 100 people, on average, I will get 40 people to respond to me one-on-one. I'm going to share with you the screen after and share with you some stats. It's unbelievable, guys. If you're not using this, you're losing money on the table. So why does that work so well? Well, it's very easy to explain. Remember the earlier statistic we saw. Cold outreach, you get 6% response rate on email 1. And we saw email 1 here. We got 6% response rate. But if we keep going, email 2, and email 3, and email 4, and email 5, and email 6, and email 7, and email 8, we keep getting more and more and more and more. So we create a sequence, everything is automated, and so we send email 1 to the client, and let's say we get 6% response rate. The 96 people that don't respond are going to receive email 2. And on email 2, maybe 90% of people are responding. So the 10% of people are responding on email 2. So the 90% of people that are not responding email 2 are going to receive email 3, and on and on and on. And as a result, you're going to have amazing communication with clients. So there is a tool called Woodpecker, and this is a tool I use, woodpecker.io, I think. And I'm going to give you the link in the bonus. Woodpecker, you know, the little woodpecker is a little bird. When he knock on the tree, tack, 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 he doesn't break the wood in knocking one time. He knocks several times. So this is the power of the sequence. Let me show you an example. I wanted to contact some boat broker to ask a question about boat sales. And some of you guys might even have received my email. I sent to 6, so I had a group of 600 people. So far I sent 407 email. 82.5% of people opened it. And I got 27% people that responded. Over 100 response one-on-one with clients. I'm doing boat sales also. I'm a partner in a boat brokerage firm. And on the second line is one of our broker here. He sent an email to 190 clients about a boat. He get 86% open, 44% communication response rate. 44%, guys, unheard of. Let me give you some more detail. Based on, here is a $1.8 million offer we got based on a sequence that we sent. The guy came from a woodpecker sequence, boom, he put an offer of $1.8 million right away. This method, guys, is so powerful. Look at this, two other campaign. One has 45% response rate, 63% response rate. This is unbelievable. If you're not using woodpecker, or if you're not using email sequence in 2017, you're losing money. So let me give you an idea of how you can do this. Let's look again at those statistics. I mean, let's say you have a database of 1,000 person. Okay. You're going to create a sequence to contact one-on-one those 1,000 person. So your first email will say, hello, John, or hello, first name. How are you? How's the summer doing? How's the boating season? You guys having fun? Are you guys doing any boating this summer? Question mark. I would love to catch up with you. Talk soon. Vincent. So that's email one. You send that. You program your email number two in Woodpecker. Email number two is, hey, John, I didn't receive news from you. Is everything okay? I would love to catch up. Are you available for a chat this week? That's email two. You send, let's say you can set it up to send it 3 days after. If they don't respond, email three. Hey, John, still didn't hear back from you. Are you still on my radar? Question mark. Okay. And email four. Hey, John, are you still interested in buying or selling a boat, for instance? Question mark. That's a 9-word email, very efficient. So this sequence will have, let's say, 4 or 5 email. If you send it to your database today, if you start using it to the database and you program it on Woodpecker, say, okay, I want to send it to 30 people a day, for instance. At the end of a couple months, guarantee, you will communicate with at least 30 to 40% of your prospects. So you will have being able to communicate one-on-one with 300 to 400 of your people in your list at the end of 2 months. Every morning you're going to the office, you're going to have email from clients. Oh yeah, everything is good. The summer is fun. We got a new boat. We really enjoy, or we enjoyed the boat you sold us last year. Maybe we'll sell it next year. Or yeah, I want to list it. I want to sell it at the end of the summer. Maybe we should talk about that. It's going to be dream pipeline for you guys. Why? Because you will use the power of email sequence. Okay? So now I'm going to give you 10 tips for, I don't have time during this YBAA webinar today to go inside Woodpecker and show you everything, how it works and everything, but I would like to do a little training for you guys. So I will put that together. But for today, I just want to give you the best practices, tell you what tool it is and what results you can get. Okay? And I really want you to be aware that you're missing out big time if you're not using it. Now, I want to share with you 10 tips on how you can really get the best results with an email sequence software. First off is the timing. If you send an email on Monday morning at 9 a.m., you might not get the same results as if you send an email another time of the week. I found out with my team that the absolute best time to send email was Tuesday 10 a.m. Thursday 10 a.m. is pretty good too. Saturday is good also. We try to avoid Sunday, but Saturday is good also. What type of message you want to send? Always short and personal. The shorter the better. You don't want to use a megaphone. You want to be kind of like, hey, I'm just talking to you one-on-one. So the shorter the better. In your signature, you want to put send from. Don't put your company name. If you receive email from my newsletter, you see, I don't say send from Yatz's Academy. What it says send from Vincent Finetti personal. When you put this little bracket personal means you're sending them a personal message, and it always increases significantly your open rate and response rate. In your signature, now if you have best regard, thank you, talk soon, everybody has different signature. They have a study that has been done. I looked at it 3 months ago, very, very serious study. Then analyzed hundreds of different signature. What they found out, the absolute best for response was thanks in advance. That's the absolute best message for signature. So you might want to change your signature today to thanks in advance. What type of email you want to send? Some of you guys know the strategy I use is called a 9 words email. I really recommend to use it because it's so powerful. This 9 words email has been making money for me and my company for the last month. I think I made $20,000 from the 9 word email. Constantly 9 word email works. Constantly. Has been working for me for the last 4 or 5 years. I know a guy from Northrop and Johnson, or I think Northrop and Johnson or Kemper Nicholson, he sold $100 million new build construction Lurson with a 9 word email. Okay, so you want to check that out. I'll send that to you guys in the bonus, but you absolutely want to use that technique. What type of follow-ups are working great? I like status or still on your radar. So what is status? You send them an email and the subject line is status with question mark. And below just blank, you just put the previous email you send them. So it's very bold, but a lot of them will respond. Still on your radar, you can send also, hey, John, I'm still on your radar. That works great. Other method, you can use WhatsApp, text message, works great. Send from my iPhone. Sometimes you can remove your signature and write, if you send a short email, you write send from my iPhone. It just looks like you on the fly, you're thinking of them, and I get a high response rate from that. Avoid spam. If you use Gmail, use G Suite. G Suite costs $10 a month. I think it's a professional service from Google, and you will get always a better response rate and a better open rate. And finally, the last advice that I want to give you guys, avoid the words free, price, million, sales, deals. Those are the words that those are spam trigger words. And when you use those words, unfortunately, they are not very good, and they reduce significantly your open rate. So those are 10 quick advice that I wanted to give you, okay? But that's pretty much it, okay? I show you guys today the best way to communicate and the best tool to communicate. Now, let me ask you this. I know we had limited time and I wanted to respect that. Given the time we had, did I do a good job today? I hope I did. So if you left the room right now with the stuff I gave you, and if you use it this afternoon or tomorrow, will that help you to sell more boats this season? So if yes, type yes in the chat. If no, well, feel free to type no. But I really hope that you found value in that little training today. And I'm going to give you more detail in the bonuses. I'm going to give you some links and a free trainings also for Woodpecker and everything. I really want to help you guys to leverage the best tool to communicate with clients in 2017. It has been working amazing for us over the last year, and I want you guys to start using it, okay? So as I said, now you have two choices, guys. You can keep using obsolete and outdated selling models, or you can just adapt and use the methodologies that I shared with you today. And I hope that you will opt for this road. And I hope that will help you to succeed and sell more boats. So it has been 45 minutes. I went a little bit extra. I was planning on doing it in 40 minutes, but thank you. Little Q&A now. If you guys have any question, I stay at your disposition. I can see some nice message from you guys. Yes, good information. Thank you. Good job, Vinny. Very good idea for prospects. Yes, great job. Thanks, guys. Good info. It means a lot. Okay, so some of you guys had some connection problems, so I guess we will. I want to make sure that everybody had the great information today. But so if you have any question, please ask in the chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little package together with some bonuses, and I will send you to all of you guys that stayed until right now, until the end. So Neil, connecting with sellers in today's market. Thanks, Mike. Excellent strategy and techniques. So connecting with sellers in today's market, Neil, in response to your question, well, you want to ask yourself the right questions, and one of the most recurring questions that I get at Yes Sales Academy is, how can I get more listings? And I always tell students and clients, you're asking yourself the wrong question. The right question should be, why would people want to give me a listing? Okay. And when you start asking yourself the right question, put the right plan together, do something for your clients when they list a boat with you, and you'll get much more results. Woodpecker, if you communicate more with your clients on a regular basis, that will help you so much more, guys. That will help you so much more to get some more listings also. So get closer from your clients, and the clients will get closer to you. What is the best email to use? I would say Gmail for sure. John. Yeah, Gmail is looking forward to your body. Okay. So Corina missed half because of connection. Okay, so we'll send you a replay, Corina. Can you write, Jenso? Can you write down, please? We'll send something to Corina, a replay, because she had a difficulty. So Sandy asked, yes. So Sandy, will the package have the 4 email samples? Yes. In the bonus section, we'll give you some detail of the woodpecker sequence. Beth asked me if she can receive a presentation and replay for people that were unable to view the presentation. Yes, for sure. So Mike asked, what is Woodpecker? So Woodpecker is email sequence software. Email sequence in 2017 is the absolute best way to communicate with clients if you do it properly. That's why we want to give you guys a guidance. I wouldn't recommend you guys to just buy it and start to figuring out on your own. We have been using it for over a year and a half with over 7,000 leads. We had very high expertise with that software, so we'll put together a training for you guys, and I really recommend you to follow our guidance for that. And the training is not long, it's maybe 40 minutes, maximum 1 hour, but at least you will use it with the best practices. So I want to thanks everybody again. I hope that you enjoyed the information today. Remember, a little summary again, what we reviewed today. We saw that the marketplace is changing significantly in 2017. And as a result, we need to use new tool, but we also need to use new methods, new way to communicate. And what I did is I really put myself in your shoes, and I gave you the absolute best way to share information to clients and the absolute best tool. The best way was to use the dialogue method, and the best tool was to use the email sequence. And if you do both, you're going to skyrocket your chance of selling boats. And that will help you significantly. You connect with more people, and not only in the quantity, connect with more quantity of people, but better quality of people. And that's really what I wanted to do today. David was losing connection. I apologize for that, and we will also send you the replay. Okay. Thanks everybody. If you have any question, email me, vincent@yardsalesacademy.com. And I really want to thank Beth and Vin and all the team at YBAA. And I want to wish you guys good luck for the upcoming shows in September. I'm sure you're working hard to trying to do well at all the shows. And if any questions, I'll stay here. And if you guys have questions, ask me in the chat and I'll respond. But thanks again, guys. Oh, yes. So I have a question here from Richard. Yes. So you guys are all set. You can now leave, and you will be recorded for all of you guys will be recorded for the 3 credits. So everything is fine now. If you want to stay for question, feel free. But otherwise, if you want to leave, also, it's totally fine. Thanks, everybody, again. Bye bye.